What's going on, family? I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. As I look at Joe Louis and Max Schmeling, these men would meet one another twice, once in 1936 and once in 1938. But what's always been interesting to me, captivating to me, was the men that would rule the countries that they came from. Adolf Hitler was born April 20th, 1889, Austria-Hungary. He died April 30th, 1945, in Germany. He was 56 years of age at the time of his death. Became the Chancellor in 1933. Became the Führer of Germany in 1934 into 1945. January 30th, 1933 to April 1945. That would be the duration of his rulership in Germany. On the other hand, when we look at Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he was the President of the United States during this time. He was the 32nd President of the United States of America. He was born January 30th, 1882. And he died April 12th, 1945. From March 4th, 1933 to April 12th, 1945, Franklin Delano Roosevelt would serve a 3-year term. And he was president of the United States during the reign of Joe Louis and Max Schmeling's rivalry. He was a state senator in 1910 and 1913, an assistant secretary of the Navy, 1913 to 1919. He was the governor of New York, 1929 to 1932. He was a presidential election candidate, 1932, and he would become the president in 1933 to 1945. December 8th, 1941, he would sign Declaration of the War against Japan. December 11th, 1941, he would sign Declaration against Germany. Now, Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, Detroit, Michigan. It was May 13th, 1914. April 12th, 1981. Had a record of 24 wins, no losses, with 21 knockouts. He stood 6 foot 1.5 inches. Had a 76-inch reach. Had a total bout career of 69 fights, 66 wins, 52 knockouts, and 3 draws. You see, between July 17th, 1936, he would have 24 fights. He'd be in the ring with Charlie Ratliff and score a first-round knockout in Chicago Stadium. June 19th, 1936, in his 25th fight, he'd be in the ring with Max Schmeling. And he'd be stopped in 12 rounds at the famous New York's Yankee Stadium. August 18th, 1936, Joe Louis would have his 26th bout. And it would be somewhat of a return match to see where he would now stand after his loss with Max Schmeling. And he would face Jack Sharkey. And he would knock out Jack Sharkey early. New York's Yankee Stadium. Now, in 1936, Max Schmeling was 29 years old. He weighed 192 pounds, stood 6 foot 1 inch, had a 74-inch reach. He had a 40-inch chest normal with 43 chest expand. His neck was 17 inches and his bicep was 13 inches. He had a forearm, 10 inches and 3/4. His waistline was 34 inches. His thigh was 19.5 inches. Calf 13.5 inches, and his ankle was 9 inches. When you take a look at Joe Louis, who was 21 years old, he weighed 195 pounds. He stood 6'1" He had a 76-inch reach. His chest normal size was 41 inches. Chest expansion was 44 inches. His neck was 16.5 inches. Bicep 13.5 inches. Forearm 12.5 inches. His waist was 34.5 inches. His wrist was 8 inches. His thigh was 20 inches. Calf 15 and ankle 10 inches. Now with Joe Louis and Max Schmeling, in their first fight, June 20th, 1936, they would fight in New York's Yankee Stadium. And the fight was scheduled for 15 rounds. The official attendance, 39,878 spectators. Official gross receipts, 547,531 ticket sales. Joe Louis's share was $125,535. That was 30% of the net gate. As for Max Schmeling, his share was equal, $125,535, 30% of the net gate. Now the rental of Yankee Stadium was $41,844. Motion pictures was $25,000. The radio was $27,500. It was promoted by Mike Jacobs.
So why not take all of me?
Now, in their second fight in 1938, things were a little bit different. June 23rd, 1938. These two men would get it on the 22nd, the day previous. They would fight at New York's Yankee Stadium. The fight was scheduled for 15 rounds. With 66,227 members in the audience. 940,096 net receipt. Joe Louis would earn $351,622 that evening. Max Schmeling's share was $175,622 that evening. The motion picture rights was $25,000, as was the radio rights. That was $50,000. And the promoter for that fight was Mike Jacobs. But this time, things would be different in the outcome of the fight. Joe Louis would take it to Max Schmeling. He would dispose of him in one round. And what was interesting, the referee, Mike Donovan, would take the towel that was thrown in the ring by Max Maxoff, and he would throw it out the ring. It would land on the ropes. Because Joe Louis had visited the White House, spoke to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And Joe Louis's message from the president: we need these muscles to defeat Germany. Mike Donovan received a message from the New York SAG. Don't you stop this damn fight unless a man is knocked out cold. I don't care who it is. Because it could start a war. Now, Joe Louis was hit with 72 right hands. And when Joe Louis was knocked out, 1936, it terrorized the country. You see, before a Joe Louis fight, the norm would be to go to the barber shop and a beauty parlor. Go to the cleaners and get your suit pressed. You go home and take a nice clean shower. Prepare a nice meal. Make sure the radio worked. Because you were in for a treat. for as long as it lasted. But on this particular evening, that would not be the case. Normally after a fight, everyone would run into the streets and they would celebrate as though it was the 4th of July. On this particular evening, no one came out to the streets. There was a funeral in Harlem, Detroit, and Chicago. Max Schmeling, Joe Louis. One of the greatest fights of all times. In my opinion, I have it ranked number 1. I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Thanks for watching this magnificent fight. Joe Louis Scrapbook.